breaking news, and today we are talking about something very, very large, something very 18 plus, something very, well, yeah, I mean, you already know, right? You've already read the title of this breaking news, and what I'm referring to is the Real Madrid football stadium, Santiago Bernabéu? Oh my goodness. This thing is so sharp looking. The other two stadiums I was not a fan of, but this one, just seeing it from the images and stuff, from the photos that LEGO has sent over, I love the coloring of this and just everything in general. So let's get into what this thing is. Well, Real Madrid, I mean, they are a recognized club worldwide. I mean, worldwide. I have kids that play soccer at my school that know Real Madrid. They know all the big ones. They know all the historic ones. So the interesting thing about this is it's interactive and immersive. It has so many different features. So things like it's an accurate replica of the stadium from both up close and far. Doesn't matter how you want to look at it. The roof actually lifts off, and it has the ability to open up the model by splitting it in half. We have seen that before. That isn't anything new that we haven't seen before. But the thing is, it encourages you guys and others to engage with all the details in the set, from the pitch that has the famous grass pattern, the iconic four towers, the goals, the tunnel, the dugout, the scoreboard, the banners, stickers, the stairwells, the iconic Real Madrid CF branding, and there's just so much more. Milan Maj, who was the lead designer, you could say, he said it's one of the most recognizable football clubs in history, which is why recreating the stadium in Lego brick form was such an incredibly rewarding experience. Authenticity and sense of scale are key factors in this recreation, which they definitely are, so that builders can truly feel the atmosphere of this dazzling and vast stadium. The set allows builders to bring the much-loved home base of Real Madrid into their own home for years to come. Oh my goodness. Super dope. Love this thing. Anyway, details on it. Well, it's going to be available March 1st. And the good thing is it's going to cost you a lot of money, just like everything else. It is going to retail for 350 euros and USD, 310 pounds, 450 Canadian, and 550 Australian. Whew. I still don't understand how all that works, but my goodness gracious. So the set number on this, 10299, and it is an 18 plus, like I had mentioned. Now the height of this thing, it's about 5.5 inches, kind of along the lines with the other ones that they have done, the other two in the past. The width is 17.5 inches. The depth is 15 inches. And here's the kicker, 5,876 pieces. I'll be curious to know if there's any specifics in there for the reason of this and why that number, because designers are funky like that not funky in a bad way, but just kind of funky in their own way, where they have reasons for ending it at a certain piece count or putting things in that might be iconic for them, like numbers or colors, stuff like that. So anyway, the features that come in this, obviously we've already went over some of them. The iconic towers are really cool on the corners of the stadium. Super duper neat. The player bus on the outside, of course, that's something we have seen, I believe, with the others. I know it was definitely maybe the lorry, the articulated lorry that they had. But I've got to say, going through this, looking at this, I feel, to me, it just feels more modern than some of the other stadiums they've done. Like, this to me almost feels like I'm a giant U.S. football fan, right? Traditional, or not traditional, a more modernized NFL stadium. That's what this feels like to me. And I've been in a number of them, and it's just really cool, especially the one here in Dallas where I live. I mean, it's fantastic. I love the coloring on the outside, though. The light bluish gray with the tan, and then the white up top. And then you look down inside and you have that blue and you have the orange. There's something about the color palette that is just completely different than what I expected. Plus, all of the little architectural design features on the outside, the texture. And I know the other stadiums had it, but I wasn't a big fan of like all the glass pieces and stuff like that. Why? Because glass was always something that was scratching. But back to the model, this beautiful model. Well, it just, look, if you're a football fan, a soccer fan, and you are a Real Madrid fan, you are going to be all in on this. Or maybe you started collecting one and you're not a fan of Real Madrid, but you're like, you know what? I'm sticking with the stadiums. This could be for you. It really could be for you. So it's here's what I'm hoping. I have a replica of the Dallas Cowboys stadium in it's some kind of metal, right? It was a collector's item. And my dad and I both got one years ago. It was of the old stadium, the old Cowboys stadium. So I have that, but I don't really display that much just because it is so not cheap and it's not plastic. But what I would love to see is, I know LEGO is doing, soccer stadiums and stuff like that. There are some really iconic stadiums in the NFL, like Lambeau Field. I would love to see done. Or like Soldier Field. And I'm not a fan of those, but even the new Los Angeles football stadium is incredible. Why? Because it's not just a stadium, it's a whole experience. And I would love to see something like that come from this, like make that parallel jump. The only problem is, soccer has a much bigger fan base, especially in Europe, than what NFL football does, American football. But I have hope. But to wrap this up, you don't have to wait long. And what I mean by this is this, saying the same thing over and over. I do have a review copy of this. It just actually arrived today, this afternoon. And I am going to share it with you very, very, very soon. As soon as I get the nearly 5,900 pieces put together, this is just going to be a different experience. So I want you guys to come along with me during the journey and just see how everything goes. So look for that review coming very, very soon. Here, I would imagine in the next few days, as soon as we can get it built and put together. And I would love to, have Milan Madge come on and do an interview and discuss this thing. That would be phenomenal. Just to hear the design elements from the design team's perspective. So that is going to wrap up this breaking news segment. Obviously, there's going to be more coming around the corner. It seems like every week we hear something. It just never seems to end, especially this time of year as we get deeper into the year. So I'll talk to you guys next time.